Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Midoriya Izuku. Midoriya isn't usually the type to worry. At least, not when he's with others. But when he's alone, there's always a space left to overthink and come up with the worst scenarios possible. He couldn't help it. It wasn't his nature to keep predicting those scenarios, to think of what ifs and what could happen. But no matter what he did to prevent that and stop it would always be there in his mind. And he thought of the best way to prevent them, which would be to limit any factors that could lead to a danger, since most of those what ifs were about someone hurting you, not him. He worried about you more than his own self, if he were to be honest. And that's how it always was since he got together with you. My darling, please just try to be careful. And if you're going out late, you can always take me with you. Midoriya, we don't live in the same place. You scolded him, feeling like he was being a little bit too overprotective, but he was not about to back down, as you could clearly see. Well, I would rather you call me, and I would go over to you, and we could go out together. Just don't go out late alone. Please. Why? You ask him, crossing your arms now. Midoriya, please be honest. Do you not trust me? Is that why? And immediately he shakes his head, wrapping his arms around you and stroking your hair gently. That's not it. I promise, Ryan. That's nowhere close to what you're thinking. Look, I have those thoughts in my head about you getting hurt, and I can't handle it when you don't come to life. So please, Ryan, just do it for me, if nothing else. Make sure you're okay. Try to be careful. That's all I ask. And looking at him, and the way he was so desperate, you couldn't help but listen, not wanting him to worry more than he had to about you. Todoroki Shoto. Todoroki was overprotective when it came to you, mostly because he didn't know how to deal with this. Those feelings of overwhelming love, and feeling like he has something to protect. Now, that was strange, because all his life, he'd wanted to protect many things, but he'd never had the ability to do so, and never saw it as an option. Because after all, everything he'd ever cared about, and everything he'd ever loved, has always been taken away from him, leaving him with nothing in the end. So to have something, someone, whom he loved and who loved him, it was strange in its own. But to feel like you wanted to protect that someone from all harm, it was not a new feeling, but it was intensified with the power that he had now, and with the way that the world felt so big, the harms that could come upon you. He couldn't just prevent them all from happening, but it worried him still. How one day, the world could just decide to take you away from him, and his love would be no more. You won't be there, and that would be the end of it. That terrified him, and he wanted it gone. Those thoughts, those imaginations, and those images that would come in his mind. An image of you, injured, bleeding, needing his help, and him always being a moment too late. Nothing was scarier than that to him, and that's why, whenever you were out together, you would notice the way he always has an arm around you, keeping you out of harm's way, whether that be a stray rock on the street, or a villain trying to attack you. Shoto, it's really fine. There's no reason to act that way. Well, there is a reason, if you want to know. Would you tell it to me? The reason is because I love you, Ayan. If you get hurt, it hurts me too. So that's why I have to protect you now. Of course he would protect you if you didn't hurt him. But that just meant he loved you so much that the idea of you being in pain hurt him far more than anything else. And that's why he would put up with his protectiveness, even if it could be bothersome sometimes. Bakugou Katsuki. Now, Katsuki was protective in many ways. Not only that, he was possessive as well. And that was something he would argue over. A lot. But you had come to just be comfortable with that in the end. Katsuki would be who he is. And you don't mind that. You don't want him to change himself entirely. If anything, you just wanted him to be able to deal with those feelings in a different way. And soon enough, he was beginning to respect your own wants and your opinions. Even if you had those feelings that sometimes conflicted with them. And you were proud of him for making those steps to make you happy. But sometimes, like today, he would be extremely overprotective. And you thought it was cute. And quite endearing if you were to be honest. Why just stay close to me. Oh, Katsu, it's just a patrol. There's no need to worry like that. We're patrolling Wyon and looking for a villain. That's a good need for worry. And you chuckled because months earlier, he would never say anything like that, and you wouldn't believe it if you told him he would. Maybe a lot of things change once you fall in love. Oh well, he wouldn't believe that if you told him, but perhaps in time, he will begin to realize that as well. That loving you, and you loving him too, it had its effects and changes on the two of you, and you saw it clear as day. But Katsuki, maybe you'll need a little bit more. Regardless, with the way he held you so closely, and always kept you behind him. At first, and maybe with anyone else, you would have thought he didn't believe that you were capable. But you know he believed in you. If anything, he just couldn't handle your hurt. And since you were quite sure this wasn't a dangerous mission, and he was not risking his life doing this, you would let him have it. Just this time. And maybe, say he wouldn't wear your ear off during the entire walk. He does have the ability to nag sometimes. Who would have thought? Bakugou Katsuki being a mother hen? But you loved him that way, just as you loved many things about him.